right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging in there with us and tuning in, even on the replays. Welcome to the Christian Party Line with the Ladies of Radio. We won't be having Shay Samuels tonight, but we have our good friend, and she's been my long-time co-host, and her name is Patrice Jackson. What's up, Patrice? What's up?
Hey, Jerry. Happy Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, you too. Did you have a nice weekend? You enjoy yourself?
I sure did. Spent some time with some friends and family and, just chilled and relaxed.
That's right. That's what we do. That's right. We sit back, chill, watch a little football, and chew on some turkey bones. That's what we do.
Right.
All right.
The thing. You got to take advantage of this time,
That's right. All right, man. Amen. All right. Well, no further ado. You got, so far, I just see Paula G in the queue. Are you still there, Tiffany? You going to hang out with us? Tiffany must have hung up then. Okay, that's my line. All right. Well, you got Paula G with you. I don't know where Chanel at yet.
Hey, Paula G, you there?
I am here front and center. How are you, love?
I am doing good. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying on, sharing your wisdom with us this evening.
Absolutely. I had to hang out with my sisters. I appreciate y'all having me.
Right, of course. We like to get all points of view, and of course, anybody who has ever heard Paula G speak, she is Lady Wisdom after midnight, and she does not disappoint at all.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. What's been going on in your world while we're waiting?
For me, just getting ready for the new year. I actually have a gala coming up in a couple of weeks, so I'm trying to get some stuff together because I want to relaunch, and so I want to hopefully get stuff out for the, at the gala. So. Oh,
it'll happen. We are speaking it into existence that it will happen.
I do receive it. How about you? How is my journey? You guys are on season 2.
Oh my God,
that is exciting.
Yeah, and my guest just a few minutes ago was just speaking to the power of praying and saying, Lord, if this is the direction that you desire me to go, and begin to open the doors and begin to, provide the resources and the opportunities. And that's what my journey is. That's what my journey has been for me. We recorded the second season last month, and just a wonderful, you all are going to be so blessed by this. Well, you're blessed by the first season too, but so blessed by this season and some of the powerful testimonies that we've gotten from our guests, some of the musical selections and the musical artists. We've taken it to another level this second season, so we're just so incredibly blessed, and I'm so thankful for Jerry, for Pastor Kelly, and just everyone who has been just an integral, part of this. WATC featured for their newsletter for the month of November has featured the show as one of the inspirational news shows on the network.
Wow,
so we're just really,
right.
Yes. Oh my gosh, when I saw that, and then, I saw, because they had a photo of one of the scenes of the show, and it was right next to a photo of Dr. Charles Stanley, and anyone in the Atlanta area, and even outside of the Atlanta area, knows that Dr. Charles Stanley, he's fairly prominent here, in the Atlanta area.
I'm not even sure.
Yes. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. And then the write-up itself was next to a photo of T.D. Jakes, and I'm like, well, who knew? Who knew on this network?
What you said, when you doing what you're supposed to do, and you allow God to truly order your steps, and you say, okay, God, I'm taking my hands off it, I'm going to let you do you, it truly just opens doors that you would have never thought would have opened before.
And then you just got to walk through and do you. Walk through and do you. So, like, in your experience and in your journey, can you cite an example of when that has occurred for you?
When I started, when I was, maybe like last year, you know how you kind of get to the point where you kind of get alone and you don't want to open up no doors. You really not open up to like new people and new opportunities.
Yes.
But when I did that, when I started to like network, and even now as I network and I meet new people and try to learn who they are and how they matter to the world, I've learned a lot about myself. It opened up doors of compassion. It opened up doors for me to see more opportunities, to think bigger, to live bigger. And I think that is what that is, allowing God to work in your life and show you the things that you need to see,
Right. And and the one other thing that I've learned on this journey with all of that as well is how I have to, and this kind of ties in with our subject this evening, how I have to cleanse myself, sort to speak, of any distractions or anything that is not of God. Because I always start my prayers, Lord, if there's anything that is not of you, that is within me at this moment, first of all, forgive me for whatever that is. And then second of all, cleanse me of whatever that is. And one of the things that I've learned along this journey, not only this journey in radio and TV, but in life, is the power of forgiveness and how when we don't forgive, how that can stifle us, how that can hinder us.
And you know what? I'm truly a witness of how, forgiving can truly change your life. And sometimes when you can put yourself in a place where, where if you don't get that opportunity, it can stunt you, right? And, my childhood it was a fairly good childhood, but, as you go through, sometimes parents may not be the perfect people that you expect them to be. You have to realize that they're human beings as well. And, there were some times that there were some things that I needed to forgive my mom for. And I was so thankful that one of the deacons in my church, told me that. He told me that. He was like, these are the things you need to forgive, her for. You need to be a little bit open. And I did that. And I think about, if I had not done that before my mom passed away, who would I be today? Where would, where would my emotions, where would my feelings be? Because I've seen people whose parents have passed away and they had that tumultuous, relationship, and they never got the opportunity to either forgive their parents or forgive themselves for some things they've done to their parents. And it shows. So I'm to that.
And I say, and I believe Chanel has joined us. I tell my students, because I still work with at-risk students, and I've worked with a lot of students over the years as a school counselor, and a lot of times they've been angry at their parents, and I'll never forgive mom for this, I'll never forgive dad for that. And what I would always encourage my students with is, your parents are the best parents that they are capable of being right now. It may not be the parent that you want. So there's a gap. They're being the best parent that they're capable of being, but the parent that you want is over here. So there's a gap there. So you're going to make a decision to coexist with the best parent that they're capable of being, and perhaps that person, as you continue to love on them as a child, then perhaps they will get to the point where they are the parent that you desire them to be, but they're the best parent that they're capable of being based on their own experiences or limitations or whatever it is. And that's not meant to be a negative, but just to share. We all go through, this changes in life, and we do the best that we are able to do at that particular moment in time. And then down the road, hindsight, we of course, look back and we go, we get into the shoulda, woulda, couldas. But a lot of times we just gotta love people for who they are and where they are at each moment in time.
Yep, that is so true. I had to realize that people around me was doing the same thing, because I know I'm not perfect. So, why can't I extend that to people around me, my family, my friends, strangers even, So, but let's I know Chanel is on. Chanel, are you there?
I am.
Okay,
Hello,
so we have...
Hey, my sister.
Chanel Lloyd. So let me say before because I want to hear your point on view of forgiveness and how you feel about it. But let's just say I want to give a quick shout out to our girl Shay Sams, our regular host. She is. Thanksgiving weekend, takes a lot. So we want to just give a shout out to her, hoping that she is in great health and strength, and we will see her next weekend. And we want to thank her for all the input that she has put in along the week that we actually, talk about throughout the week in the group message as well on these topics.
Yes, amen.
Amen.
Chanel, tell us how you feel about forgiveness. How has it affected you in your life?
Let me see. Forgiveness is liberating. I know for so long, I think it took a while for certain wounds or certain offenses from other people longer to heal. And I knew, as saints, we know what the scripture says. God says to forgive so that you will be forgiven, and through the process of being hurt, it did a number on my heart and on my mind. And, it hurts worse when you're hurt from someone that you look up to or someone that you love. I think that's what makes hurt even worse. You don't expect for people to have the capability of hurting you so bad when you feel, so much love for them. We expect for them to love us the same way. And so I was bound in hurt and unforgiveness for many, many years by several people in the church that I was going to. Okay. And so when God took me out of that particular ecclesia, I'll say that. That particular ecclesia, that was when God was showing me how bound I was with unforgiveness. I couldn't go any further. I couldn't grow any further spiritually. I couldn't grow any further emotionally or mentally. And then not only that, but because I was carrying so much hurt and pain and offense and unforgiveness in my heart, those very things were gravitating towards me, when I would surround myself around other people. And when you're surrounded by so much negativity, and it keeps your mind on negative things, and all you see, all you hear, all you feel for the majority of the time of that season in your life is negativity. Is you don't see how bound you are until God brings you out. And so I had to go through the process of forgiveness and God taught me, he had to teach me that, I'm no better than they are, because while, they were offending me, I had offended other people, before, and so what really freed me was when I understood that mankind, period, is so imperfect, that we as humans, we all struggle. We all have this war with our flesh versus, God's spirit in us. And so all of us are capable of grieving the Holy Spirit, and we are capable of hurting one another. And sometimes we hurt, others because we're hurt from something else or someone else. And so what God taught me was when someone comes and, offends you, do what the Bible is to go to them, to be reconciled with them, because the moment that you do, you grow in love for one another, and it makes the bond of love and peace that much stronger. And then once you realize that you're walking in more peace and more love, it's like a weight lifted off of you. And you're able to hear God more clearly on other things. You know, you're able, you know, you're free enough for God to move you forward to the next level where you need to go, or where God is taking you in your life. You're able to move further towards purpose in your life, if I'm explaining that, you know, with clarity.
I completely understand where you're coming from with that, Chanel. Like, I think that sometimes that when we holding on to that, we can't go any farther because everything blocks us, everything reminds us, we dwell in it, you know, and sometimes people don't even know they offended us, right? So it's good because you may be going through life thinking, oh, this person not talking to me for some reason, and then they don't talk to, they're not talking to you because they think they offended you, and vice versa. So let's talk about why don't we? Because I mean, it's good to say it, but I think even for me, I know sometimes I don't do it. Why don't we go to the person that we have an issue with, regardless of they offended us or we think we offended them, and try to figure it out? What is stopping us?
Are you asking Paula or me?
Actually, Paula and you, Chanel. I want to hear both of your points of view on that.
Go ahead, Paula, if you wanted to.
I feel that why we don't go to that person in some instances could just boil down to the inability to communicate. Because in the world we live in with, you know, us on social media and texting more than picking up the phone, or, you know, typing more than writing a letter, what have you, that we're losing some of our communication skills. I mean, that's one reason. Another is that sometimes we choose to hold on to that hurt because it's almost a means of, and what is the word that I'm looking for is escaping me, when we hold on to that hurt. It's almost the means of continuing to validate that someone has hurt us. You know, almost like a woe is me kind of thing. Because when you think about it, when we don't forgive someone for the harm that they have done to us, or if we do forgive, let's flip it. If we do forgive someone the harm that they've done to us, in essence, we're saying it's okay. You know, it's okay that this occurred. It's okay. I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to move on with my life. It's okay. At some point in that process, and I've been there myself, we haven't been able to do that, because then we turn around and we say, no, it's not okay that you hurt me. No, it's not okay that you upset me, or that you betrayed my trust, or whatever it is. You know, we have this conversation with ourselves, and it's almost like letting go of something that we don't want to let go of. And I know that sounds a little weird, but it's almost like letting go of something. And I know in my own personal journey, when I've got to the point where I said, you know what, I'm letting go of this. I'm giving up the right to know why perhaps this person hurt me. And sometimes we have to do that. Give up the right to know why someone hurt us. Give up holding on to they may never come back and apologize. For what, even if they know what they've done, they may never come back and apologize for whatever it is. So it's those things that we have to I believe we have to let go of in order to move forward. I'm giving up the right to know why this person hurt me. I'm giving up the expectation or desire for this person to come and apologize. I'm simply not simply because it's not simple. I'm going to work towards letting it go so that it doesn't hinder my progress, and it doesn't hinder what it is that God is trying to do in my life. Because, you know, with our scripture reference today, you know, I was reading And it was speaking to how our broken relationships can hinder our relationship with God.
Yeah.
So we've got to seek. And you know what they say, hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
Hurt people hurt people. And sometimes too we have to realize that sometimes if someone hurts us, it may not have absolutely anything to do with us. We just may have gotten caught in the crosshairs of their hurt and pain from something else, and they've lashed out and have said something that's hurtful to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I agree, Paula. Like, sometimes people, like I said earlier, sometimes people don't know that they're hurting us or aware of it. So how do we, like you said, you were going over, you said sometimes we have to let go of the desire to want to know why they hurt us, or, why we should, just forgive them and maybe not, we've had a desire to hear them actually say, please forgive me. But how do you go on and you say, okay, I forgive this person, but the person may have to still be in your life, but you don't want to get hurt again, or you don't want to have to be in the position to have to forgive them again. How do you get over that? How do you proceed through a relationship when you have that issue?
Go ahead, Chanel, and then I'll. No, you go. Oh, okay. How do you get past that? It's a journey. It's a journey of. Ask me the question again. I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Well, okay. So what I was saying is, how do you move on when a person has hurt you and you still? Because you can get to a point where you say, "I'll forgive you," but then how do you move on when you have to put yourself in a position where they can do it again?
Oh, okay. You have to set boundaries. Ooh, Lord, you hit home with that one. Ooh, okay. Ooh, here we go. You have to set. Okay, I'm going to be transparent because I'm in the midst of that right now. And I was just prayerful the day before yesterday. Lord, lead me, guide me, show me how to coexist with this person, because I know I'm going to have to coexist with this person. Guide me in how to coexist with this person. And I'm being transparent, because that's what we do, right? Because
yes, absolutely.
Because truth be told, I really want to punch this person in the throat. So help me, lead me, guide me in how to coexist with this person. And what I've felt the Holy Spirit, fall upon me, and that song that we listened to earlier was so relevant about the Holy Spirit, falling upon me, was to set boundaries. Yes, I have forgiven this person. The memory, of course, is still there, but I have, moving forward, coexisting with this person, because I have to, setting boundaries, deciding, and that's the process that I'm in now, deciding what will those boundaries be, because you will not be permitted to enter that space in my life again in order to add further harm, or in order to hurt me again. So I've got to set boundaries of what I will allow, what I won't allow. Setting boundaries in my reaction, as well to the person. I had a wise friend some years ago, and she put it this way. She said, when you may have a good friend, or you may have someone in your life that is close to you, and that person could call you at 2:00 in the morning and say, Patrice, can you get up and go get me a gallon of milk from the store? Because you love that person, because that person loves you. And when I say love, I'm not necessarily talking about a relationship, a man-woman relationship, just in general, just generic. Patrice, you'll get up and you'll go get that gallon of milk, and you'll take it to their house, and then you go back home to your house and get back in bed, won't ask any questions, just make sure they're okay, because you're close to them, you love them. But that person has hurt you. Person knows that they've hurt you. Person has not apologized, but you have to still coexist with that person. So the next time that the person asks, calls you 2:00 in the morning, Patrice, can you get up and go get me a gallon of milk from the store? Your response to the person is, yes, I can go get you the gallon of milk from the store. This is 2:00 on Tuesday morning. I don't go to the grocery store until Friday. So when I go grocery shopping on Friday, I will go and get your gallon of milk, and I'll give you a call when I get home with my groceries, and you can come over and pick it up. So that same person now knows, wait a minute, before you used to get up at 2:00 in the morning. Every time I call you, get up and run. But now things have changed. What's different? That in itself may prompt a conversation. So you haven't divorced the person from your life. You're not hating on the person. You're just you're creating boundaries. And I don't know if that example was a good example, but you're
That's a perfect example, because like you said, I think everybody at some point has this situation, and I have, and it kind of resonates with me when you say it.
Yeah, I think we all. Yeah, we all have.
Yeah. So that has helped to kind of, because there are certain people, like you said, that you're going to have to coexist with. So you're going to have to find a category, for lack of a better term.
I wanted to say too that Paula, you made me think about when you were saying, we think that, letting go is basically saying that, it's okay. I think that's what you were saying, that, we kind of we kind of think that, it's okay that they hurt us when we let go. Was that what you? So man, that was like really, 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 that was a really good thing that you said, because, it's so true. We think that letting go is acceptance, but we fail to realize that, our silence about it is actually, acceptance, because, we're not helping ourselves, and we're not even helping that person that offended us either. They probably, like you guys were saying, they probably don't even realize that they have offended you. And then who's to say that they haven't even, that they're not treating, other people the same way and hurting other people, and they won't even see the need to change because nobody has said anything. And so that's how,
huge.
Yeah, because, and like even, when it comes to like bullying and, even, racism and so on and so forth, if we continue to be quiet about it, nothing would ever change. Nobody would ever even see the need to change, and nobody would be growing. So, and another thing too, I think that we think that holding unforgiveness in our heart, we think that it's justified because we have been wronged. You know what I'm saying? And we get content in the walls that we barricade ourselves in. And we think that we're hurting them, but in actuality, we're hurting ourselves because these walls won't allow us to move anywhere. We're bound by the walls, and we're like, nope, don't cross that, don't touch that, no, don't do that, no.
Right.
And we can't move any further. We can't move forward. We can't move backward. We have these walls. We were in this building, this 4-wall building. There's no windows. There's no doors. There's no vent. There's no ventilation. We're just sitting there,
Right.
And not moving, we're not moving horizontal. We're not moving vertically. We're just at a standstill.
Right.
And we get content. We get content there, because we think that this is how it's supposed to be, and this is making me feel better. But every time you see that person, you get vexed in your spirit. Can't even think, can't even function, can't focus, can't understand
Blood
why.
Balls. Want to punch him in the throat?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to hurt him and everything, We want to handle it the way we want to handle it. We don't want to handle it the way God says to handle it, man. Like, God, let me hit him. Let me hit him one time. Let me fight him just one time.
Hey, look at the scripture. Like, wait a minute, but listen though, David and Goliath, and they was bullying him, like looking for like stories, and like, well, let's get, let's try to figure this out. Let me see how I can get what I want to do across, and not what God wants to do.
Guess what? Peter, I think it was Peter. One of the disciples, they must have been frustrated with, their fellow brother or whatever, when he came to Jesus and said, look, Jesus, how many times can my brother offend me and I forgive him? Is it 7 times?
Right.
Tell me, is it 7 times? Is it 7 times? Because I'm counting 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's 4 times. And Jesus was like, no. How about 7? What is it? 7 70 times 7. 7 times 7 or 7 times 70 or something like that. And what Jesus was saying was like, listen, if your brother comes to you and asks you for forgiveness, you are to forgive them. There's no limit to how many times you are to forgive your brother. And the thing about it, though, is, too, I think we are afraid to go to the person that offended us. One, I think, is because somewhere we're not walking in love. God said, I gave you the spirit of love, power, and a sound mind, right? I didn't give you the spirit of fear. So if we are afraid to go to that person, maybe fearing altercation or so on and so forth, then we might not be walking in love. And I'm saying this from my own experience. This is personal. And so when I allow God to bring me out of that, out of, being afraid of confrontation or being afraid of what my sister or my brother would say or whatever, if I went to them over something that I didn't like that they said to me or done against me, it made me, so God changed that in me. Like, no. I said to go to them to be reconciled. So if you have it in your heart to go to them because you want to reconcile, not because you want to get something off your chest, not because,
yes, exactly.
You're
it has
angry,
to be genuine.
But you really want to be able to love your sister or brother freely. You want to reconcile. You want to bond your relationship. Then there will be no fear there. So here's an example. But not an example. Here's a situation. So there was a time when my quote-unquote sister in Christ offended me. Okay, she went to the pastor, said some stuff, lied on me, basically. And she had a habit of doing, just really vindictive things again. And it wasn't just me. It was a lot of other people that had a lot of stuff that, to say about her, the things that she had did and said to people. And so I text her. I sent her a text message because I didn't know if she was at work or whatever. I said, hey, we need to talk. And I think she already knew. Because, she already knew what I needed to talk to her about because she knew what she had done. And so, long story short, conversation went, I don't want to meet with you. She did not want to meet with me at all. And I was insisting, I was stretching every nerve to fight to keep the bond of peace between she and I. But she refused, right? She ended up cursing me out, okay? Cursing me out. It got so bad to where I got in my flesh. I was like, you know what? Since you don't want to respect me enough, at least to have a conversation. I mean, she threatened to fight me and everything. Oh my gosh, Lord. She was like, no, because I know myself and we might end up fighting. And this was my response. Listen, even if it goes this far, even if it goes that far, we're going to get together, we're going to reconcile, and we're going to love one another even harder, even after the fight. How about that? That's where my heart, I'm like, I don't care what I have to go through. I'm like, I don't care what I have to go through to get to this reconciliation that we need in the body of Christ, period. That was my mindset.
It's a journey.
But
it's a journey. Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
It's a journey on all levels.
So then, look, I never got a chance to have this conversation with her or anything like that. But I had to go through the process of forgiveness. Listen, when you've been offended, especially more than once throughout a long period of time, You have to go through the process of forgiveness. That is actually a healing. It's just like healing is a process. It happens over time. So is forgiveness. You have to be open and honest with God. You know what I'm saying? You can't just, you can't just say, "Oh, I forgive them," and you think that your heart has let it go. No, because you're going to see that person, and whatever happened is going to pop up in your mind, and those negative emotions are going to, spring up once again. But I was just going to let me. Go ahead. But I'm going to say this though: if you when you talk to God, if you go to God every time you feel those negative emotions, God, listen. I know you know this situation. I'm asking you. I don't want to hold unforgiveness in my heart because I understand where I am, and I understand that I'm not perfect either. I said, I don't want to hold this unforgiveness in my heart. Please get this out of my heart and heal my heart. And I mean, over time, it happened it wasn't an instant. And there were moments where I would feel like I'm free from this thing, but then it was brought up again. But the moment that it did, I was honest with the Lord once again. Please help me. Here we are again. Right. And then you have people on the outside that know about the situation, and you're being, I talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always transparent with what I'm going through. I don't care what anybody has to say. Right. Because we all go through the same things.
Yeah, and so I think we're gonna go ahead.
People rush you. People rush you. You know what I'm saying? People in the church, they will rush you. Oh, you should have been over there by now. Oh, you should have been let go of that by now. You don't know the process that I have to go through. Go ahead, Paula.
Yeah, but I was just going to say, and then we're going to introduce our guest. I was just going to say this quickly, that sometimes that journey to forgiveness is a journey of processing through that pain, allowing yourself to feel that pain. That's very difficult, but allowing yourself to feel that pain, processing through that pain, because once you process through that pain, then you're able to release it because you've gone through it. You're able to release it, and you can emerge on the other side with a open and healed heart. Patrice, I'm going to pass it on to you so that you can go ahead and introduce our guest.
All right, yes, we have Stacey Bryant. She is on the phone. I want to go ahead and introduce her on. Hey, Stacey.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing good. We are on the phone. We're talking about forgiveness, and we're talking about just moving through that and how freeing it can be. So I'm sure you have, some stories about that because actually you're a life coach. So I'm quite sure people have to, get over a lot of things and do forgiveness through life coaching. Before they can really get the benefits of your coaching. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you feel about the freedom of forgiveness?
Hello again. First of all, hi.
How are you, Stacey? This is Paula G. How are you, love?
Hi, Paula. How are you?
I am fabulous. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening.
Yes, this is a late time for me, but yes.
Late night.
Yes, late night talk. But yes, so I'm Stacey, Coach Stacey, as they call me. I've been life coaching for 11 years, and I do host a radio show for 108 Praise Radio as well. So this is always fun to be in the presence of others. As far as forgiveness, though, let's see. Yes, forgiveness you have to process. A lot of people don't understand that it is a process. It takes a process. You can't just say I forgive you and it's all well. You have to face the question of whether. Let me say how to forgive. And a lot of people don't understand that takes a lot of prayer. It's just really basically prayer based because you have to go through the process. Sometimes it's so deep that it just saying I forgive you is really not enough. You got to let go of judgments. You have to let go of grievances. And you got to allow yourself to heal through it.
I think that is so. That is so true as a witness to that, being a witness to that. It is a painful process because you have to allow yourself to feel that pain. And once you allow yourself to feel that pain, and it takes a minute, like you said, Chanel, it can be a long process. But once you process through that hurt, that anger, that pain, whatever that emotion is, and then you emerge on the other side of it, it's like it doesn't hurt anymore. I'm not angry anymore because you're not allowing it to well up inside of you.
That's correct. Let me add this. Another thing is you have to understand that you first have to learn what forgiveness isn't. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people don't understand that. They have there are misconceptions about what forgiveness is. If we have to understand that forgiveness doesn't mean you're pardoning or excusing other people's actions. That's not what it is. So right. If you're thinking that you have a hard time forgiving, whether the Bible says it or not, people don't get that. Well, I can't do that, because that means I'm excusing their behavior, and that's not what forgiveness is. It doesn't mean you need to tell the person that they are forgiven. That's not what it is either. Another thing is you shouldn't have any more feelings about the situation. That's not what forgiveness is. So when we kind of put away the misconceptions of what forgiveness is not, then it's easy to be able to let it go to begin the healing process.
Yes.
And forgiveness isn't not saying anything. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes I forgive them, and then just don't deal with the situation at all. Don't say anything.
Right. It doesn't mean there's nothing further to work out. It doesn't mean that everything is okay now. That's not what forgiveness is.
That's so true. And that goes back to when Paula was saying draw boundaries, because you have to completely get to the root of it, the root of the situation and the root of the reason why it even happened, because if not, both of you really are not going to even know exactly what happened and the things that can trigger this situation to happen again. So if you can get to the root of it, find out what's going on, and then set those boundaries on both sides and understand it, then you can move on, and that's when healthy relationships start.
That's right.
Healthy partnerships and things like that. So you have to, communication is key in anything.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because those boundaries are that's key, because, I think we all had to do that, but personally, I know I had to do that. Like, no, I'm not going to tolerate, X, Y, and Z, but this is the godly way or the assertive way that I'm going to deal with this. I'm not going to not deal with it, being passive, but I'm going to go to my sister. I'm going to go to my brother, and I'm going to talk to them in love. Hey, sis, I really didn't like it when, X, Y, and Z happened, and I just really want for us to be able to, grow together in love, and most of the time, the response is, oh, I didn't even know.
And the reason why I didn't know is because you don't even always have to do that. See, forgiveness is basically you accepting the reality of what has actually happened within yourself, and you finding a way to live with the resolution. So that's why a lot of times they didn't even know, because you in your own mind already need to forgive somebody for something that they really didn't even do to you. You have to just really, once you accept the situation for what it really is, forgiveness comes so easy. So easy. And it's not even, that's another misconception. It's not even about telling the other person, well, I forgive you, or this is what you have to work through those issues of course, of relationships not being the way that in your mind or your expectation is. But at the same time, forgiveness is not that. Forgiveness is just accepting the reality of what has actually happened and finding a way to live with it in that state.
And Stacey, you said something huge. Yeah, you said, well, let me see if I can just interject something real quick here. You just said something huge. I did a workshop a couple of years ago, and we were talking about leadership styles, and everyone had to go to the corner of the room that best represented their leadership style. They're all different kinds of leadership styles. For this example, we had the visionary, the healer, the teacher, and the warrior. In the process of this whole exercise, we learned that a lot of times the warrior leadership style hurt the feelings or upset the visionary. And I think I had the two right, because the visionary is kind of the person that sees the big picture. They're kind of the pie in the sky. The warrior is like, look, get to the point, let's get it done. So the visionary is just telling this great grand, I see this big picture, and we can do this in the project, and we can do that if we're a team working together. We can do this and we can do that, and have all these wonderful ideas. And then you have the warrior that comes along and says, yeah, that sounds great, but we need to do
they
X,
have
Y,
a
and Z.
dogmatic type of.
Yes. So we get upset, we get hurt, and then we go through this process of, either we are or we aren't going to forgive that person. So I think that speaks to what you were saying, Stacey. Am I wrong?
And in a lot of ways it does. But here's the thing. What I'm saying, and the reason I'm saying that is because forgiveness isn't something that you do for someone who's wronged you, whether they know they did it or not. Forgiveness is something you do for you.
Right. Yes.
So if giving is something you do for yourself, and if it can help you heal, it shouldn't be that hard, whether the person is a warrior or whatever they are, because forgiveness is not for them. We waste time with that. Forgiveness is for you.
Can you explain, though, what accepting the reality of the situation? Like, can you explain what that means to, I guess I'm trying to better understand, like, what it is, because you said that that's basically what forgiveness is accepting the reality of the situation. And I'm like, wow.
Oh, okay. So basically you're asking coming from a relationship standpoint, or whatever type of relationship that may be. And someone did something to you, and because you're saying you've had to go to people and you've said what's on your heart, and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't even know, because they obviously said or did something that was offensive to you in a certain way, but that's because you have placed an expectation out there. Okay? And once we place an expectation and someone doesn't meet our expectation, you are hurt. You're as they call it, butt hurt. You're hurt and you're upset, and no matter how deep it is, I don't know, maybe it crossed a wound where someone else has upset you, and whatever. You had the expectation, they did not.
Wow.
Wow. So when you forgive, it was not even necessary for you to even say anything to them. That's something you have to deal with, that forgiveness with yourself, and that's accepting, hey, this is the reality of what's going on. I expected them to do so-and-so and so-and-so, or be so-and-so and so-and-so. That's an expectation we put on people. For some odd reason, we can't seem to fathom that. That expectations are really, really serious, and then we lead into having to forgive because we begin to set up grievances. We begin to hold ugly things in our heart. It just goes on and on and on. Did that help you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So is it okay to say that we should expect to be hurt?
Like we have a lot of wisdom on the show tonight, and I want to take advantage of it, okay?
I'm wondering if we should expect to be hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not expecting like the wisdom on being hurt, but I'm saying expect the wisdom in forgiving and learning through that in the process. How do we teach forgiveness? Because, to our children, or maybe to someone who's coming to us to learn, or wisdom, because, if anything we go through, you want to use it to grow for yourself, and then you want to pass it on. So how do we teach, that wisdom and forgiving to our kids and to maybe family members who are looking for that?
Our actions. That's how you teach forgiveness, our actions. As far as teaching our children, your children watch everything that you do. You don't necessarily have to have little lessons. I mean, of course, we do. We teach them in Sunday school. We teach them through books. We teach them other ways. But the most way that we teach our children is through our actions. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So when situations arise, if they see you showing forgiveness, and you show forgiveness by your actions and how you act. If you place an expectation on someone and they didn't meet that expectation, the way you treat them the next time, you're going to show whether you forgive or not. Mm-hmm. Point blank, period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're going to show. So if you are showing a forgiving heart through your actions, you're teaching forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's all about being a role model and being
that is correct. It's just that
living your life. And
we look for so much more. We look for the deep answer. There for some things, there's not a deep answer. You just be.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Living.
That's true. Yeah. And let go of the expectation. You know, what I was hearing you earlier basically was saying was it goes back to that conversation in between the ears. Letting go of the expectation of a certain response. You know, like the example I was giving earlier and maybe I didn't explain it well when I was talking about the visionary, the expectation in that person's mind is, because I have this wonderful idea, everyone's going to say, wow, yeah, that is awesome. And then when you don't get that response, then you're hurt. But if you don't, and Stacey, jump in if I'm not on the right track here. But if you don't have the expectation of a response and just accept the response or responses as they are,
you have no reason to forgive.
Then I can see where you would not be hurt, you would not feel that hurt, sort of.
That's right.
Because I don't have an expectation of your response. I don't have an expectation that somebody's going to shoot it down or praise it or whatever it is.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
So it's changing that conversation in between our ears. That's a challenge.
Well, you know, I think it goes back, you know, when you were saying the difference between the warrior and the leader, it's like even knowing who you are and how you respond to those things. Really, both of you, both Paula and Stacey, were saying that, you know, learning who you are, how you respond to different situations is really important too, because that gives you the opportunity to, before you get before your emotions get so overwhelmed, that it gives you the opportunity to step back and see the part you're playing in this, and how it's about the kind of how you're going to respond to it and how you're going to react to this, and see.
That's right. That's right. And when I was saying earlier about the process, of course, I said at first you have to understand what forgiveness is not. And then the next thing you have to do is ask yourself, do I even want to forgive?
Oh.
The forgiveness requires you to be willing to forgive. Okay?
It's a choice.
You got to be willing.
Yeah. It's a choice. Wow. It's, it's, oh, go ahead, Patrice.
No, go ahead, Paula.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it definitely is a topic that I'm sure is very relevant to so many people, because, you know, so many of us are somewhere on that spectrum.
Right.
You know, if we haven't mastered this thing yet, we're somewhere on that spectrum.
Yes. And that's, like I said, it's a process. And you have to start there. You have to start there. And then once you start asking yourself, am I willing, then that's when you have to find a good place to be alone with your own thoughts and not others. Okay, and I know I'm not necessarily trying to shoot her statement down when she said, well, I went to the person, because there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, the Bible tells us when you have all, you go to the other one. If it doesn't work, take someone else. There are different steps into the process. But a lot of times we got to sit alone and be alone with ourselves. God's trying to deal with you. Because it's your issue. Like you say, there's issues that come up and they don't even know that there's an issue. So start there. It makes the process much easier. Be alone with your own thoughts, think about the incident that angered you. You know, you accept what actually happened, you know, how it felt, how you felt about it, how it made you react. You know, in order to forgive, you got to acknowledge, again, here we go, acknowledge the reality of what occurred and how you were affected by it. You got to know where you're coming from when that comes. You know what I'm saying? You got to acknowledge the growth you experienced as a result of what happened. That's where that's the key right there. Once you acknowledge the growth that takes place, then it leads you into forgiveness. What did it make you learn about yourself, or about what you need, or about your boundaries? You know, did you survive the incident? Yes, I did. So what is it that I've learned from this incident? You know, perhaps you're really, really growing from. You never know. So you have to be alone with yourself, so that and allow God to deal with you, so that you're able to move forward through the process. You guys are just letting me talk. Y'all don't have anything to say.
Jerry asked the question in the group chat. He said, "What if it's your leaders that are hurting, that are doing the offending or the hurting?
If it's leaders,
and it's creating
your leaders, like your pastor, a
whole bunch of people, a whole department, or."
Hold on, let me go to the chat so I can understand the question.
Mm-hmm. And while
it's
she's
good
doing that,
I love that we're having this conversation on the show today, because it gives everybody the opportunity to hear that people come to grow in different ways, but we're growing and we're learning, and we understand that sometimes each situation has to be approached a different way. And the point of it is to grow and to have healthy relationships.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. And that's why exactly I say you start the process with yourself. Okay? Because I agree 100%. But to go back to this question he has, how do you handle forgiveness when it's your leadership and they are hurting the component or department? Okay, a little bit more. Are you saying they are the one who has offended? Am I correct? Is that how I'm reading that?
Yeah, that's what I read.
Okay.
No, that's how I read it. Yeah.
So who is the one that needs to do the forgiveness? I mean, are you saying
how do you handle it?
Yeah, the same way. You get along with your thoughts. You assess the situation. You process that. Now, if, you know, it's situational depending on, you know, how deep it is. Then you have to, once you deal with you may find out that you don't have to go to anyone. You know, okay, so they offended me. It wasn't what I expected. I may or didn't like it. Going back to the example that, was that Patrice who said that, or was that you, Paul? I'm not sure. You know, the warrior versus the visionary, you know, because that may happen, because that's what you expected. Doesn't mean your leader sees what it is that you expected. You know, so you got to deal with yourself first. And then once you move forward, you got to decide whether or not you want to tell the other person or how to tell them. You understand what I'm saying? You got to you really have to seek God for how to talk to them about them, but only after dealing with you.
Yeah.
You can jump in, Jerry.
All right. Well, I couldn't type it all in. Well, you know, sometime, you know, when you're dealing with, you know, jobs, you have you have people who've been on the job for a while and they feel like they next in line for a promotion, but then someone else come in and then they choose that person. You feel like, wow, I trained that person. So now you hurt because you built a relationship with that manager or that management team, and they know your work, but yet, and then they don't give you an explanation why they did it. Sometimes you may even forgive them or understand, say, okay, they want to go younger. Of course, sometimes with legal reason, they can't really say that, but you know that's why. But if they can say, okay, we think you need a little bit more training here in this area right here, if you do this and do that, then it kind of could justify why they did what they did. So then you hurt now because they didn't come to you and tell you why you didn't get that promotion. And you see that all the time. And it kind of destroys the component, because now everybody's like, wow, man, they did that to Joe, and Joe.
Well, not necessarily, because it goes back to what I just said. You got to sit along with your thoughts and get in your thoughts, because that you put that expectation on your manager to give you that promotion. That's your expectation. That wasn't theirs. They're doing their job the way they see fit. So we walk around butthurt because we didn't get a promotion that we were expecting, okay, instead of doing the steps before that. Hey, I'm looking to do this. What is it that I need to do better? You know, they should be getting coached. They should be getting trained. They should be having, coaching sessions on the job. I know when I worked in the corporate world, I got one once a month, every 30 days. I don't know. At that time, I let them know, hey, I'm looking to do this. How do I get here? Instead of just expecting someone to give me a promotion, then I'm butthurt because I didn't get it, and I thought we was friends. Friends don't give people jobs. You have a job. Why is that an expectation for your friend to give you a job because you feel like you're doing good? No, that's not right. So that's something you have to deal with yourself.
Did you say butthurt?
I'm sorry. Did I use the wrong?
Did you say butthurt?
No, you never did.
I like it. I'm just asking.
Butthurt. That's hurt.
That's hurt. Really?
Yeah.
Hurt. But you face that
Exactly what that
expectation.
means.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
What if, and I'm only answering this question because it's actually happening. What if the pastor has falsely accused your child of doing something terribly bad, and your child and you are hurt?
Okay, so let me tell you this. I've been in both of those situations. It's just so funny that you're even saying this. And that's when I say look at yourself and look at how you react in your growth. You have to do that. The first one I want to talk about is when I was in the military. And I thought because, I joined a little later in life. I didn't go in right out of high school. So, most of my peers were 18, 19, 20-year-olds, right? So what do you think my expectation was? My expectation was, well, I'm older than everybody else. I should get promoted whenever it's time for a promotion, right? Every time I'm supposed to be promoted, I should be because I'm older than everybody. But I kept getting missed. Passed up for promotion. I couldn't get to the board for some odd reason. I just could not get to it because I had to fix some stuff within myself, but I walked around for years butthurt because my leadership wasn't allowing me to be promoted. But it wasn't them. I put that expectation on them. I had to forgive each and every last one of them because once I really sat with myself, I saw that I was the problem. Number one.
Wow.
Number two. As far as the church, I didn't have a child that was falsely accused. My pastor falsely accused me of something at one time, and I was his secretary at the time. Okay, someone went and said to him, I did something, blah, blah, blah. He called me on the phone, and because he didn't say, Sister Stacy, is this what happened? He didn't just ask. He just said, you know what, someone called and told me you did this, and I'm not happy with you. You know what, I stopped going to church. Was that his fault? When we really think about it, was that his fault?
That wasn't his fault why you stopped going.
Whether I was right or wrong, it was not even his fault.
Right.
I didn't even say anything back to him. I was like, whatever, Pastor, and boom, I just stopped going to church. I was so butthurt. Hurt.
Yeah.
And he had the audacity to even call me with it. He should know. I'm not like that, No. First of all, let's have a conversation.
Right.
And then you can potentially miss out, like you said, even with the promotion, you miss out on blessings because you refuse to see your point in it. You could have been promoted a long time ago, or you didn't have to leave your church if you just realized that it was, how you
react to the situation, right? You got to find the growth areas. And, we can talk about forgiveness all night long, but forgiveness always leads to how you react in situations. Because a lot of times you think about how you're reacting, you don't have to forgive anybody. If I had just stopped at that time, I probably would have never left church. If I just stopped, you know what, Pastor, I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're asking me. Can we talk and work through this? That's what someone, with a little maturity do. But, I wasn't that mature at that time. I still had, a lot of stuff in me, So,
right. Yeah.
Who do you think I am? No, I'll show them. I ain't going back, I wasn't hurting him. They don't still went to church every Sunday, that I know of. I was the only one went there. So who was I hurting?
Well, you are right. You are right. And like you said, I think we learned a lot in forgiveness today. Opening up, telling our stories, showing how we can grow in it, how we can be a better part of the process of setting boundaries and forgiving and finding out really what our triggers are and why we're so reactive to these different situations.
Right.
So I thank you guys for sharing your and sharing your stories with the hashtag. With our new hashtag, Paula.
Butthurt. Hashtag butthurt.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
No, that was good.
I would love to. I just want to thank everybody for, first thank our audience for, tuning into the show today and listening to us. I want to thank our guest, Ms. Stacey Bryant. And I wanted to give everybody a quick opportunity to just maybe just say an encouraging quick quote or word or something to give to everybody. And I want Stacey, if you don't mind, ending the show with maybe an encouraging word or a prayer for everybody in the audience today.
My encouraging word is just to understand that all human beings are flawed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We act from, when people act from limited beliefs and a skewed frame of mind, we have to understand we all come from limited beliefs. Okay? And when we're hurt, the other person was trying to have a need met, just like you are. So we have to understand that all humans are flawed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Paula G?
I don't think I can follow that.
Okay.
I don't think I can follow that. Sometimes
I want to say once again, thank you.
Wisdom and silence.
This was a great show for this Thanksgiving weekend, and I want to also give a quick another shout-out to Shay Sams, who was not here today, but she was here in spirit, and we will see her next week.
Yes.
All right. Did you guys have any, do we need to look out for any announcements? I don't know if I missed that. But. All right. Well, I just wanted to thank you, ladies, and everybody have a great night, and it was a great show.
Amen.
You're listening to Jewish Worldwide Podcast.
Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of Double XI.
Positive Power 21.org. Internet radio.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21. Jerry was live worldwide.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Positive Power, WXI Christian Media. With Paula G, the voice, Patrice Jackson, Chanel Lemon-Thorne, and Stacey Bryant. And shout out to Shay Samuel. Awesome podcast. All right, everybody. Share the file. You learned something today, y'all. And it was very powerful. Forgiveness. That's what it's called. Forgiveness. Forgive yourself. All right, everybody. Take care and have an awesome, awesome weekend. Take care. See you next week.
Hi, this is Lady T, urban gospel artist from Jackson, Mississippi. You're listening to Positive Power, XXI Christian Radio on Spreaker Radio and Facebook Live.